Hello, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my completion review of the diamond painting of this image right here. So this is called White Plum Blossom from DIY Digital Art. I did get this as a product review, but on their site it's $9.50. It's a 30 by 80, but it's more of a 25 by 75. The canvas was poured glue with round drills, and there were DMCs, and there were 18 colors in all. This took me 5 days to complete, and well, I'll talk about the stuff I did but yeah, here it is. I think it's a tiny bit pixelated, but the flowers in the front actually look really good. I mean, the birds, like these two are birds. This one kind of looks like a bird. This one looks like just a random blob of green. Um, so, but in the original picture, I'm kind of looking at it. That bird is also kind of just tiny blob of green, and then that bird is a little bit more defined, so maybe that's why it looks more like a bird here. Um, and then, but the white flowers, I think actually turned out pretty good. It's the background flowers, so in the original image, there were these more shadowy flowers in the background. They turned out more just kind of random blobs of some gray color. So those didn't turn out, but I think in the end, the the main focus of the picture, which is these white flowers, turned out pretty good. And I am planning to put this up on top of my door. And with me being vertically challenged since I'm only 5'3", I think from the distance, this will actually look okay enough that I'll be happy enough that's on top of my door. Um, do I wish there was a little bit more definition? Yes, but the main items on this are defined enough that I think you get the gist of what it's supposed to be. Um, but yeah, no, I was kind of just saddened about these background flowers. I almost wish that they would have just edited it out and then just made it like a massive color blocking of blue or something and just had the white flowers in front highlighted. So I guess this is a lesson for me when choosing an image like this to take into consideration not just the, ooh, look, it's pretty flowers, and they look big enough that they'll show up, and they are big enough that they show up as pretty flowers. It's just more now a lesson that I should look out for what's in the background too of the image, because then it could just translate really strangely in the background. But I think, yeah, maybe like from far away you could get a sense that the strange blobs of color here are just other flowers, or just a shadow maybe. Yeah, I don't know. uh, but I think I'm happy enough with it that that I could see the flowers on the outside, that I am still going to put this on my wall, and the color scheme fits with my where I want to put, or where I want to put it. So yeah, so what did I say? Okay, so J and L were a tiny bit hard to read sometimes, and then E and F were really easy to just kind of mix up sometimes because they were both white. I'm like, seriously, couldn't E and F be like completely different colors? Um, but yeah. Oh, and I also replaced the white drills with 5200 AB. So the white drills were just interspersed in the flower. So I did replace those with white ABs. Oh, I have a piece of hair in there. Ew, that's kind of gross. Hazards. Even though I know it's my hair, it's still gross. Oops. Dropped my... So yeah, I did replace the white drills with ABs. I actually find that white ABs are the easiest substitution you can make because it's not so hard to shade match white. So you're just like, oh look, there's a whole bunch of white. I have a bunch of white ABs. I'm just gonna replace the white with ABs. I actually did contemplate replace, like, just making an outline of ABs also on the flower, but I wasn't sure. Like, there's not enough definition in the original picture, I think, to do that outline. But I was also thinking of just, instead of just replacing everything that was white with the white ABs, I was gonna do an outline with the white ABs. But I figured this is gonna be seen at a distance anyway, so I didn't want to make that effort. I was also contemplating just like editing out the bird and just putting in like a background color in there, but it kind of looks like a bird, so I was happy enough with that. So yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, these are the ABs I used to replace. I actually got these from a Star diamond painting, the Snowman family. There was so much white in that I had left over 3 bags of 5200 AB. Like, these things were full. So yeah, this has my succulent also in here, but I didn't run out of any colors at all. There's plenty left over. And like the succulent picture, I thought the drills were like even size, that I was able to, you know, multi-place this, and I don't see massive gaps between the drills. And I think I feel like if the drills are the right size, you wouldn't have gapping, and you would be able to relatively keep your drills straight, just because they kind of are supposed to like shove each other into the right place. So yeah, I think this one also had pretty good drills that they just kind of lined up without going too crazy about lining them up. So yeah, I am gonna seal this, since I am gonna put this on a foam board to put on top of my door. I'm just moving my stuff out of the way so that I don't accidentally put the sealer on. So I have a piece of cover paper, like I have 2 pieces of cover paper under this, you know, so I don't have sealer all over me or all over my table. And then I'm just going to brush the diamond painting to get rid of anything excess. I mean, you already saw that I had a piece of hair in there. So I'm just using this, I don't know, it must be a bathroom scrubbing brush. I used to use a toothbrush, but that just took too long. So, and yep, I don't think anything has come off. I did roll this also immediately after finishing, but I am just doing the roller again, just to make sure that any excess fluff is gone, hopefully. Because once you seal it, that is in there, and that is what you are going to have on your diamond painting. Okay, I don't see anything missing. So, alright, I'm also gonna seal my passport cover. I don't really see anything on there either, but I will. I'm just doing it off camera because the other one is taking up with the camera. Alright, so I'm going to use this Liquitex Professionals Acrylic Medium High Gloss Varnish. I've only used this once before, so this is actually, and that was on a special shaped mandala, because I do actually seal all my partials, because there's just all that extra like glue hanging around, and so this is only the second time I'm using this, so I'm hoping there won't be any problems. So yeah. So I'm pondering whether to do 1 or 2 coats. The thing does say that it recommends putting in 2 coats. For my mandala, I only put in 1 coat, but I also wasn't framing it in without any protective covering. So this one is going to be framed on a foam board, just because if anyone knows where to find a frame for something like this, let me know. But yeah, this is just going to be framed on a foam board, so there's going to be no protective glass over it. So that's why I'm contemplating doing more than one coat. So what is nice about this one is it's actually relatively easy to put on because it's very liquidy and you just kind of have to pour it from this lovely spout. So yeah, it's one of the easiest ones so far that I've tried. So far before this, I was using Minwax polycrylic gloss varnish, but the problem with that is it's really, really fumey. Like you could smell it. This one, while it does have a scent, is not as horribly like fumey as the Minwax polycrylic. So I've been hoping that this works just as good as that, because the fumes just were getting to me. I do really like it though, so on some other projects maybe I'll still use it. I would just have to do it like in the garage or something, because I wouldn't want to have my house smell like the varnish for days, because that's what happens. Like the varnish smell just sticks around. So yeah, okay. I just noticed some of this wasn't that lubricated. So yeah, like I said, this is actually only the second time I'm using this, and this is the first time I'm using it on a full drill canvas. So let's hope it does turn out, because like I said, I do like this a little bit more than the Minwax polycrylic, just because of the lack of fumes. But this one also is so thin that it bubbles, that I also ponder about whether the bubbles will show up. Like right now I don't know if you could tell, it's a little milky. Maybe I should bring you closer so you could kind of see, I don't know. But yeah, right now it's a little milky, so I'm hoping when this dries. So like the last time I actually kind of seeped up any extra varnish. This time I'm planning to just let this be and see what happens. Cause yeah, the last time I was kind of worried about the pooling and whether that would affect it. This part doesn't look like it even has varnish here, so I'm gonna put a little bit here. But this time I'm gonna be like, okay, let's try. What happens if I just kind of let it be and then let it dry? So this says that it needs 3 hours between coats. I think what I'm gonna do is after 3 hours, I'm gonna assess whether I want to put coat number 2, or just leave it as the one coat. I'm hoping it'll just be a one coater, because yeah, waiting 3 hours, I'm impatient. Like, do I really want to wait 3 hours? So I'm just gonna move this off the table and put it off to the side so that it could dry. And then I'm gonna do the passport cover. I do have plenty of these plastic cover sheets. So this is just a cover sheet, for any poured glue, diamond painting. I do actually kind of keep them. I don't know why. Well, I keep some of them. I don't keep all of them, but I do kind of keep them maybe for purposes like this, or just to cover up diamond painting I'm currently working on. Mainly because, I don't know, I mean, it's not like it takes up that much space if I keep them. Okay, this so I said I do seal all my partials, but especially something like this, which will have active like use on it, where you're constantly touching it, as opposed to diamond paintings where it's just going to be up on the wall, and the only reason I was sealing the other one is just so that it hopefully will repel any accumulated dust. This I'm sealing because I don't want the drills to come off while I'm using it, you know, so I'm sealing this. This one I probably will put in the 2 or 3 coats just because I think it, since it, like I said, it's going to be actively being used, it needs that extra protection. Okay, so I'm going to let these dry off to the side, and we'll come back to the finish of my framing of the larger diamond painting. All right. Okay, it's actually been a week since I filmed the completion review and the sealing. I did end up doing 2 layers of the sealer, and well, okay, so I think if I were to use this again, after the first layer, it actually dried really, really clear and looked really good. I just decided to put the second layer just to try out what happens if I put a second layer. So the first, I don't know if you remember while I was putting the sealant down, I was saying that it was bubbling. And I'm trying to see if you'll be able to see it on screen. If it'll focus. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it on screen, but there are little like pools of bubbles. I'm hoping it will convey like around the edges of the drills, if it will focus. There are little pools of bubbles, and I could see it. So I think that happened during the second layer that I put on. So I think if I were to do this again, what I would do is, if I were to do this, either I would put a really thick first layer, or I would do what I did with this time, is do a thin layer, but wipe it with a baby wipe to take out any of the excess excess sealer, just because it does. Since it is such a thin sealer, it does kind of bubble. I wonder if you could see that on here, if it'll focus. But right here, there's like a bubble that burst. But yeah, I think what I will do if I do the whole sealer thing again is put in a thin first layer. And then once you put in that first layer, the sealer does stay on really thickly for the second layer. So what I think I'll do is, after the second layer, I'll wipe it with a baby wipe to take off any excess sealer. But otherwise, look, it's on there. I mean, I bet if I went and picked it, I could really take it out. But most of the time, you're only going to really do this to the passport cover. So I also, a viewer left a comment, I'm sorry, I can't recall who it was, that told me to, I don't know if you could tell, I actually sliced off the foam in the center because it wouldn't stay closed. I actually tried lots of things. I tried putting paper binder clips on this to hold it down, and it just wouldn't stay closed. And seriously, the only thing that worked was just cutting out the foam layer in here. So what I ended up doing was I was kind of afraid that if I used a blade the whole way, I would accidentally cut through the other layer. So what I ended up doing was I used the blade a little bit to just cut out a corner, and then I got scissors. Once I had the corner cut out, I just kind of slowly went through it with scissors to cut it out. But yeah, now I have my passport cover. I'm using it to hold my journal entries, and then some labels on the other side. But yeah, so there's that. So here is this one. I did also seal this, And I did one layer at first, and then I also wanted to try what happens if I did the second layer. And I think if I were to do it again, I would try to put on a thick first layer, and or if I'm going to do that second layer, I need to wipe it with the baby wipe, just because I think the second layer went on really thick. But I'm happy enough with that. This is going to be up on my wall. I think it might have lost a little bit of sparkle, maybe a tiny bit. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's still glossy, and since I did put the AB drills, they kind of do have just that different kind of shine to it. But I'm happy enough with that. So while I was sealing that, I actually kind of made a frame for it. Well, not really a frame, but this is actually some foam board that I cut to size, and then I put contact paper over it. So yeah, I just put in, what is this? Easy liner contact paper. I got this from Walmart. So yeah, I had the foam board and I put the contact paper around it, mainly because when you cut the foam board, you could kind of see the foam edges on there, and I kind of just didn't like how that looks. So yeah, so, and then I also screwed in, like, the foam board actually is holding this pretty well. I screwed in some of this, you know, the thing to hold it as a picture frame. I did notice I couldn't screw it in all the way because the screws were starting to go through. I think if I were to do this again, I would actually get a smaller piece of foam board so that the screws would go through 2 pieces of foam board. But that's how this is now. So I'm planning to frame this like this. It would have been better if the foam board was a little bit wider so I could have a little bit more there, but this is actually the width of the foam board, and unless I was going to put 2 of them together to make it longer, this is it. So, and the reason I decided to do this way was, you know, to give it a little frame. And also, I figured it would be better to hold it that way than putting this up directly on the wall with command strips. So yeah, so if you were going to leave this permanently on here, I would recommend getting some spray adhesive and spraying this thing down onto the foam board. But I'm actually going to try out something strange, and it may or may not work, but any diamond painter that is on the hunt for a perfect wax to put into their pen has probably tried buying this blue tack. So I have a bunch of it, and if you could tell, I actually have not used much of it because I was not a big fan of the blue tack. I used it, but then what would happen is, like, as it got older, it would start getting stringy, and then the strings of the blue tack would start sticking to the drills, and then it would be so much harder to remove it from the drills because it is like tacky, and I just didn't end up liking it. So I went back to pink wax. I have tried lots of things and I go back to pink wax all the time. So what I'm actually going to do, since my whole plan is I might not like this, you know, like 5 months from now, and I want to put something else, and since there are a lot of these 30 by 80 like diamond paintings, no wait, this is a 25 by like 75 or something, I could just change it out. And since this is meant to, you know, mount like things on your wall, right, posters and things, I figured if I put enough of them, I should be able to adhere it to this contact paper and it should stay up, right? That's my mentality, and it'll allow me to replace it. And with using the contact paper, I'm hoping it would be more removable from it without, you know, staying on there. So I'm just gonna put in, I don't know, probably put in 2, should I put in a third one? Yeah, I think I'll put in 6. I mean, this thing says holds up to 1 pound. Like, how much holds up to 1 pound? But I'm gonna just try 6 for now. Let's just do the corners. and see if it stays up. And if it ever falls down, I'll probably mention it in a kitting up video. So, but I'm doing this mainly because I just want it to be replaceable, you know, when I get sick of the diamond painting in any way. But yeah, I'm like, the Blu Tack, it's supposed to do posters, right? It should be able to hold this up. And I have plenty of it. I also have the museum putty, and I thought of using that. But this is meant to be on walls, while this one is meant to be like not horizontal. I mean, not like, it's meant to be like on a table or something. So I figured this is meant not to be on a wall surface for long periods of time, but if you want to keep something on a table, I don't know. I figure both would work. But yeah, so now watch me do my kind of crazy framing. Okay, wait. Have I just been talking like crazy and this thing is not straight? Okay. Move this down. Okay. So, hey, at least that told me that's removable. I don't know how removable it'll be in a couple months when I get sick of this picture and want to change it out or something. But right now it was removable. Now I was kind of getting paranoid that I put it on the thing the opposite direction. But yeah. Okay, so a non-conventional way of framing something, but there you go. Now, I guess we'll do a little field trip so you can see it in where I plan to put it. So here it is on top of my door. After putting it up, I actually think I'm probably gonna have to take it down and put on like maybe 4 more Blu Tack things on there, because I can kind of see it gaping in the portions of it. But yeah, here it is on my wall on top of my door. All right, thank you for watching and happy diamond painting. Bye.